I didn't think I'd have to do this. Okay. We're rocking the M81 Woodland Pasget combo. When you say Pasget, is it referring to, like, can you just call both of these things the Pasget, or do you have to say Pasget vest and Pasget helmet? Anyways, also rocking the rucksack and the entire fit, right? Okay. Today I wanted to just talk about something. I haven't uploaded a video. I actually don't know when my last video was uploaded. I think it got like 4 views. Right, it was about Project Sail, which is currently going on in Coweta County, Georgia. Yeah. So, I wanted to kind of deliver an announcement to the people that watch my videos. I hope this reaches more people because this is actually a pretty interesting topic. So, you all know how we have like let's tell you like American people. Let's pretend these are all American people. What's it like most American people are like white, right? It's like what? 60%? I think it's like 60%. 30% is like African American. What is 30% of this? That's not 30%. I think this is closer. Okay. Then there's Asian people, right? Let's use greed for Asian because I don't want to do something racist. Then there's like Hispanic makes up a lot of our population. So, this is the American these are all American people. Let's just pretend that these are American people. And I know I'm definitely leaving out like okay, actually let's stick on the end. Let's make it like cyan native people because those are a large portion of the population now. I mean, it used to be more, but you can kind of guess why that isn't true anymore. So, most of the people in America are white. You're being lied to, okay? A narrative is being pushed right now that quote unquote white people are going extinct. Why do people believe this? So, people think that something like this is going to happen, right? Not okay, that's too white. Not really. That's not okay, that's not happening. Who is replacing the white people? Not really anybody. But white people are the minority now. White people have always been the minority, by the way. Okay, let's look back in before Christ, right? Let's look at, I don't know, back when ancient Egypt was around. Some people say that the ancient Egyptians were like, oh, they're North Africans, so they were probably white. I do agree there probably was some white ancient Egyptians, but there were also like black ones, right? I guess like race wasn't much of an issue back then, right? If we go a thousand years in the future, I think we gotta go way further than 1,000. Let's go to like the times of I don't know, like the Roman Empire. There were a lot of Chinese people, and not even just Chinese people, but like a lot of Eastern Asian people and Southern Asian people and Western Asian people. Europeans probably would comprise like what, a sixth or a fifth of the entire world population, right? And currently, Europeans are still only like a fifth, a sixth, maybe even a seventh of the world population. They have been around that one, five, six, maybe seventh, ha 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 ha, six, seven, ha ha. They've been around that number for like the longest time. It's just that the population globally is increasing, right? So, yeah, there's like, how many people live in China? Like a billion. How many people live in India? 1.4 billion. How many people live in America? 340 million. Right? The global population went up. And do people just think that white people aren't being born anymore? Like, okay, white people are still being born. There will always be people with a more tan skin complexion, and I'd like to explain why. So, let's say that it's really hot where you live. Let's say you live around like the equator or in like Africa. There's this thing that comes from the sun. It's called like ultraviolet light, right? Like this kind of light can give you cancer because it is radiation, and radiation increases chances of getting cancer. So what the body produces is melanin. Melanin can either make you look like this or like this. Trust me, that is, I've seen people darker than this in real life. I'm not being racist. I try not to be. Um, Now, the more north you go, the more south you go, the further from the equator you go, right? There's kind of like less sunlight that reaches you. So your body doesn't make as much melanin, which leads to people having like this kind of like skin tone, right? Why do these look the same? Whatever. So you can kind of see how like biology works, right? If there were only, let's say, people who were descendants of Africans, which, by the way, there are white Africans, and I don't mean the Afrikaner who live in Zuid Africa. No, I mean like North Africans, like Libyans, Moroccans, Algerians, Tunisians, Egyptians. Have you seen Gaddafi, bro? He's like white as hell. He's the whitest. He's like my favorite white dude, okay? Other than like, I don't know, Lenin. Now, the thing is, if the entire world was inhabited by, let's say, descendants of Africa, right? There would still be people with white skin, okay? Because the human body adapts to the environment. Let's take an example from, what was it? I think it was either the Hindu Kush or like somewhere around Mongolia, right? The people living higher up in those mountains, right? They have larger lungs so they can take in more air, right? Because the air is thinner. My lungs are really tiny. I live in a valley, a river valley of sorts, right? So it's kind of makes sense that like people living in lower altitudes, right, where the air is denser, right? They have tinier lungs because they don't need to breathe in as much air to get more oxygen, right? It's evolution, okay? Different skin tones exist because of evolution. It would not make sense for the satanic cabal to replace all of the people with white skin with people with brown skin, because those people with brown skin over the course of decades, maybe even hundreds of years, there would be a lot of lighter skinned people because of adaptation, okay? There is no replacing of white people. When I say white people, I mean majority Europeans, because there are like white African, right? So, next thing I'm going to talk about is like our greatest ally, right? Let's say, let's look at, what does it look like? It looks like, what does that country look like? I don't know. It looks like a weird triangle. Let's pretend that these are all of the Israeli people. They're going in a line because I don't know how else to put them. And let's say, I need more blocks. Let's use more blocks. Okay. So let's pretend that like These are the Jewish people, right? These are the Jewish people. These are the Zionists. What's a Jewish person? A Jewish person is somebody who adheres to the code, religion, and law of Judaism. They believe in an Abrahamic God, and they pray to an Abrahamic God, and they are the, I'm pretty sure, direct, not descendants, predecessors to Christians, as Christianity evolved from Judaism. What is a Zionist? A Zionist is somebody who believes that, well, Jewish people should have a home, even though we're already living across the world. Because we are being oppressed, we're going to take advantage of our oppression to kill other people to make our home. See how that works? The Zionists like to call themselves Jewish, right? They want to be like this, but they're actually like this, right? And so what they make it seem is how everybody, they make it seem like all of the Jewish people are like this. They make it seem like they're all Zionists when they aren't. I'd say the ratio is something like maybe like this. Because unsurprisingly, there are Jewish people that don't live in Eretz Yisrael. There are Jewish people. I'm pretty sure New York City is like the largest Jewish community on the planet. It isn't Israel, okay? Do I think Israel's bad? Yeah. If you have morals, Israel's a bad country, okay? Okay. Now, I actually want to say something else. So, whenever we see something that we don't like nowadays, when I mean we, I mean some people, not me, obviously. I don't do this. Every A lot of the times when I see somebody, they see something they don't like, right? They'll call it Israeli. People are now trained to think that Israeli equals Jewish because of these guys, the Zionists, the ones in black, right? They made it seem, they want people to think, okay, they want people to think that all the blue Jewish people are like black Zionist people. Why am I saying they're black? It's just the color I chose. I'm not saying anything, okay? The Zionists want everybody to think that the Jews are extremists. They're not, okay? They want it to be so that when somebody sees like a Zionist murk a Palestinian infant, they want people to think, oh, that's all the Jewish people. You want to know why they want us to think it's all the Jewish people? Think about it like this. Imagine you have a friend named, like, I don't know, John. Like John Phantom, right? In your name, let's just say, for the sake of the argument, your name is Jamarcus. Okay, that's the only thing I can think of. So John and Jamarcus are going to the store, right? They get to the store, they see big, scary Bob. They don't like Bob, okay? So they want Bob to attack them or do something like that. So they have an excuse to murk Bob, okay? You see? And when they're done murking Bob, they can say, oh, it was self-defense because he attacked first, even though we instigated that and made it seem like, that's kind of how, I know that was a bad analogy, all right? But let me just give it to you plain and simple. Zionists want everybody to hate Jewish people, so they have an excuse to go to war under the guise of self-defense. You see what I'm saying? Because when a neo-Nazi or like a white supremacist or anybody attacks a Jewish person, they say, this is an attack on all Jewish people. And right now, the closest anti-Jewish country or people is Palestinians. And they must be Nazis if they're attacking us. So we're going to defend ourselves by attacking them. Preemptively, of course. Kind of see how that works. People hating Jewish people makes it easier for Israel to do their job because now they can say, hey, look at all these people that hate Israel and Jewish people. You see them? They're everywhere. The enemy is all around us, and there's nothing we can do but let them bomb that hospital over there. You know, bomb the tunnels under the school and the apartment building and the hospital and the aid distribution center, you know? Okay, that's what they do. Okay, that's the Zionist strategy. They make they make their entire they make all the Jewish people seem bad so that they can commit war crimes essentially. Now, what do we do instead of calling things Jewish and blaming all these things on Jewish people? Okay, here's what you got to do. When you see something like, I don't know, Israel dropping spices and dumb bombs onto Gaza, right? Don't think that's all Jewish people. That is the IDF that's doing that. What you have to do is look at, okay, look at the bombs. Who dropped the bombs? Oh, it was a kafir from it was an F-35 or a kafir from the IDF? Okay, it's the IDF. Who's in charge of the IDF? Oh, a guy from Likud? Okay, so let's look at Likud. Likud is bad. They're like basically, they're a little less bad than the NSDAP. But yeah, we look at the Likud, and then we see the Knesset. The Knesset is basically like Israeli Congress. We look at the Congress, okay, it's the government. If the problem is the government of Israel, then the problem is the government of Israel. Are a lot of the people in there supportive of the government? Yes. But is that all of the people? No. Take into account, not all of the Jewish people live in Israel. Not all of the Jewish people even support Israel. There are Jewish people who don't even call themselves Israeli. They're Palestinians. Because the land is called Palestine and they recognize that they are Palestinians instead of Israelis, right? Okay, so like it's that like haha CIA laughing at you saying goy. Yeah, it's kind of like that thing. It's really like it's Amman and CIA propaganda, okay? That they want you to think that it's all of the Jewish people because it makes their job easier. It's like so simple. They don't care if they have a bad reputation. They love having a bad reputation, okay? Israel loves having a bad reputation, right? So that more people hate them. You know, I've said this a bajillion times in this video, okay? It's so obvious. It's right in your face. Use your ultimate Skibidi Aryan pattern recognition skills and recognize the pattern that's in front of your goddamn face and see it for what it actually is. Now, some people would like to believe that the deceitful Jew is tricking us when he says he supports Palestine. Same logic can be applied to literally anybody. Oh, you don't like Israel? Are we sure about that? You know what? Okay, I want to bring up a case from a while ago. When I mean a while, I mean like 2 months. I met this Turkish guy, right? I'm not gonna give out his name or any of his information, but he's Turkish, right? We were talking, and he really didn't like Israel, and I was okay with that. I don't like Israel. Nobody should like Israel, but it's so simple. That should be the default position, okay? No one should like that place. And he starts talking about the Jews. And I'm like, what do you mean the Jews? Don't you mean Israel? And he's like, no, it's all the Jews. By the way, at this time, my Discord display name, yeah, we were talking on Discord. Yes, I'm a chud. I know that. My Discord display name was JB Steenberg. You can kind of see how this puts something in his head, right? Okay, you're gonna ask, why was your display name Steenberg? I will give an explanation at the end of the video. Let me put a note down. I need a big explain. Okay. So he starts talking about how the Jewish people built like tunnels under all of Turkey and how they moved the children through the tunnels, you know? And I was like, dude, what are you on about? What is he on about, bro? Okay. He starts talking about some, oh, are you being paid to promote Israel even though I wasn't promoting Israel? And without any pressure, he folds, quote unquote, from this Turkish guy, right? Quote unquote, to be honest, I would take the 7K. Say that again? You would take money from Israel? I understand if you're in a bad financial position, but that's supporting Israel. I'd rather have no money than no morals and no guts. Because I think there's a lack of balls to take money from Israel, to be honest. Remember that guy who got like $9 from AIPAC? APAC? IPAC? Whatever. Yeah, that guy who got like $9. What's his name? Mike Collins? Yeah, he got $9, bro. That's actually... What do you buy with $9? Fucking gas station cheeseburger and a vape? Okay, Mike Collins, have fun with your vape and cheeseburger. So basically, this guy who claimed to be anti-Israel said he would take money from Israel? I don't know. I don't know, man, but it sounds like if you're willing to take money from the genocidal empire, that might be a sign that you don't really mind that they're a genocidal empire, okay? I don't know if I can say that. That might get the video taken down. Oh, shit. Whatever. If anybody sees this, comment, like, I want you to comment, quote unquote, I gotta think of something. Logical, make fun of Yahoo epic fail. Type that in the comments if you see this. Quote unquote, logical, make fun of Yahoo epic fail. Alright? Now, I know this video's... The video is boring. I'm just walking over a brick made of black cubes right now. We're going to talk about cubes in the next video, by the way, of that specific color. Hopefully, if I remember. But, like, that's what the whole point I'm trying to get across is, like, a lot of people who claim to not like Israel are just LARPing. They just want to hate a group of people, and that just happens to be Jewish people, or even just Israelis. They don't have a problem with taking money from Israel. They don't have a problem with being supported by the giant empire that wants to colonize half of West Asia. They don't care. That's the problem. People don't care anymore. People don't care if, like, let's say they brought Hitler back, right? I wouldn't be surprised if there were Jewish people that would take money from Hitler, okay? I'm not accusing the Jewish people of liking Hitler, by the way. I mean, Netanyahu, the Likud, any of the people in the Israeli government, I wouldn't be surprised if they did like Hitler. I mean, they seem to follow his strategy of annihilating entire groups of people pretty closely. So, I don't know, maybe they do like him. But, like, people seem to stand for nothing anymore. And I don't mean all people, I just mean a lot of, like, some people, right? Like, not even 1% of the population. Like, this is mostly an online thing. Want to know a fun fact? Most of the things people say online, they will not say in real life, okay? They will not say these things in real life. They will not believe these things for real. These are things that they are told that they believe without any reason, okay? That's all for today's video. What was I supposed to explain? Right, I'm supposed to explain why my name is Steenberg on Discord, right? So, a while back, I was really into eugenics, and I know that sounds bad, but like, not like eugenics, but like something like that. And, the most famous eugenicist is Blavatsky, right? Well, not Blavatsky, like, she kind of started like the whole theosophist thing, and I don't support theosophy or its ideas, and I don't support Hitler, and I don't support Nazism. But I took some of the things that Blavatsky said, like, there is no religion higher than truth. Or, like, I don't know, I was really into, like, what's that one place called? This lost civilization called Tartar, Sahur, I swear to God, bro. Or, like, all those, like, lost civilizations and Atlanteans and Lemurians. That seemed, like, really interesting. Why did my camera just glitch out? What the hell? Anyway, so I had JB for John Blavatsky, right? And then Steenberg just to be Steenberg, right? And that actually came from a very dark time in my life when I actually liked Nick the Mexican Fuentes, the gay Mexican. Yeah, that guy. Who's somehow really white. He looks white, but he isn't. He's Italian and Mexican. It's like the least white ethnicity ever, by the way. Yeah, I used to make fun of Jewish people, and my Discord name was like, what was it? Something Steen. No, it was Jewstein Goldberg. Yeah, that kind of. Yeah. It was a time in my life, okay? I've changed. I've changed. I changed very quickly, okay? I changed. Like, I don't know. I don't believe any of those things anymore. Though I do think, like, the whole lost civilization things would be, like, an interesting concept if it were real, right? That was the end of video yap session. Okay. Okay. That will be all for today's video. How long is this video? Oh, it's 30 minutes long. Well, if you're playing something, like if you're playing a game, I guess this is good because then you can just listen to this in the background. By the way, if you've made it this far, I would just like to say, my videos are not for watching. Don't watch my videos. Listen to them. Listen to my videos. Wait, did that pick up any of the audio?